Hello, in this video I'll be talking about SafeNet Authentication Service and specifically around LDAP Sync Agent. That is one of the services that allow us to synchronize users from Active Directory to cloud instance and instantiate users, and down the road perform some bulk operations such as token provisioning, reporting, and so on. So LDAP Sync Agent you can download from our website under Resources, Software Downloads. You will go with SafeNet Authentication Server Synchronization Agent for SaaS Cloud. As I record this video, the version 3514336. Once you click on it, it will try to download the file. Inside of the file, you will see executable and two PDF files that explain how you install it, some general questions. So I already have this file installed, and once I finish installation, it's standard setup file for Windows. This is how it's look like. Unconfigured SafeNet Authentication Server Sync Agent. The next step for configuration would be download a configuration file for this application. I will go to virtual server. I will log on as administrator for virtual server. Go to under communication tab and we'll choose LDAP Sync Agent settings. The options that I have here under LDAP Sync Agent settings control how synchronization take place. Good practice to have this checkbox selected. You will have 24 hours before this synchronization to the backend will happen. My configuration file, I will click on download and I will save on my system. Now I need to open it in my folder, and very next step is to go configuration agent and select this file. Once I selected file, a few things happen. My virtual server being selected here. The second thing is under configuration. If you would like to see certain options, you can see the key set is the same. Next is I will create a configuration that will connect this LDAP sync agent to Active Directory. It happened that right now I run it on the same domain controller. So in my configuration, it's going to be localhost. If you have LDAP Sync Agent installed somewhere in DMZ, this machine can be Active Directory member, or this machine can be standalone server. In any way, the communication happen over LDAP port, or you can make it LDAP over SSL. You need a username that can query LDAP. In normal environment, you would like to create a service account, but for test purposes, your own domain user will work as well. I go to first tab, so you can see a bunch of configurations. We will need configure at least first and second, and then I will show you some advanced features for the third tab. I will select localhost or just IP address for my domain controller. By default, it will be Active Directory. So we know how the structure of Active Directory looks like, and we will synchronize user names, the first name, the last name to cloud. I will click on Next. Now I need to provide distinguished name for an account we'll be using to query our Active Directory. No permissions on top of domain user required, since we only read from Active Directory. To simplify this demo, I'll use admin account and I'll need his distinguished name. To find it out, I will use ADSI edit application. I will find my administrator. I'll go to properties, scroll down, find a distinguished name for administrator. We'll copy, paste it, and provide a password for administrator. As my credentials accepted, so I will not synchronize any passwords. As I created bind from LDAP Sync Agent to the LDAP, now this is the time to select what groups I want to synchronize. So you can see second configure is enabled to me. I have a group that I intend to use, and this group is SAS users. I will select this group. I will click on OK. I will confirm those groups that I want to synchronize. Now, just to show you the members of this group, SAS members, I have 3 users, member of this group. On the back end, I'm just jumping ahead a little bit to show you what users exist on the back end. I have only 2 users right now. And I will go to status, I will stop service and start it again. Now, every time you stop and start, it will generate additional cycle of user synchronization. It happens every 20 minutes by default. You can extend it, you can make it 1 in an hour. So I expect to see not permitted status for now. And the reason is we want on the back end, we want to approve this very particular workstation to be able and talk to the backend. So this is what usually administrator will do. You can see change permission option, and I will allow this computer, DC01, talk to the backend. To refresh it, I can leave it as it is, or I want to boost it, so I will stop it and start it instead of wait for another 20 minutes. So what you will see, it's scanning Active Directory, sending LDAP query. It received back users out of Active Directory, and then it will send it to the cloud. LDAP Sync Agent operates as a proxy between your Active Directory and the cloud, and it synchronizes only those users that are members of SAS users group that I have here. My result is 3 users being synchronized to the cloud. Status is complete. If I go to the backend, I will see under log, you can see synchronization is permitted. I can see 3 users were processed, 1 group was processed, and I have 1 synchronization recorded in a log file on the backend system. If I go to assignment, I will see user 1, user 2, user 3 being synchronized to the cloud. And you can see I took a username, the first name, the last name, username, it's user ID, email address, and phone number. So if I intend to provide SMS token for this user. Now I expect user to use his user ID whenever he logs to VPN, and he will generate a one-time password based on the token. So I can go ahead and I can provision a token. I can select what token I want to provision to this user. Once user activates his token, whenever the use case is VPN or SharePoint or VDI, a user will use his user ID and OTP as a password. In perfect world, we will have a single username per user. But reality is, we as a corporate organization, we may have a separate systems, and sometimes user need to use a different username on different systems. Another possibility is when you have your domain username and at the same time as privileged users, you have a separate username. We want to minimize amount of tokens that you will run with. And for this reason, we will apply here a privilege ID. If in normal day I'm user 1, but let's say I'm also known in the system as user 1 admin, and this make me privileged user. You can see for this reason we have this alias 1 and alias 2. Another example would be environment where user need to log on with his email address. Exactly what happens here if I log out and if I want to log in to this particular system, I would not use my network ID, but I will use my email as my login. Additional option that exists for users is to synchronize extended attributes from your Active Directory. So let me show you how you would achieve this. And this is something that I would consider more advanced, so not everybody needs it. But let's say you do need to provide user with additional usernames. I would go to LDAP schema configuration. You can see right now I use Active Directory, and because I map all users based on Microsoft Active Directory, options are disabled for me. I cannot change them, but I can clone this Active Directory and I will have a new schema name, and then I can create additional aliases, alias 3, alias 4. I can also create custom fields for the user. Now, example of custom field may be employee ID, or maybe physical location for the offices where user located. So for alias 3, I would like to use email address as additional username that user can access or can use. And for custom field, I really want to use something custom. So I will go and, for example, under user 1, I will see office location. So in my case, it's Chicago. Now I need to know what exactly attribute in Active Directory correspond to Chicago. I will open my ADSI edit. I will go to user 1 and properties of this user. And let me now find Chicago. Here we are. So this is Chicago. I will take this parameter and I will synchronize it in this way. I will click on OK. And now I need to run again my binding to Active Directory, because this time I want to specify not Active Directory, but Active Directory 1. So I want my application, whenever it asks for attributes, use appropriate attributes. So if I go back, you can see custom empty, user sync empty. I will stop. I will start it again. And now you can see that we synchronized additional attributes from Active Directory. I can use those attributes for reporting. I can use these attributes for user identification. So for example, if I would go to communication tab, I can scroll down to branding, to custom labels, and here I can say office location. Now you can see it says office location. Much easier to help desk rep who needs to support this user to identify or use some additional knowledge about this particular user. In the next video, we will talk about bulk token provisioning based on user identity. To summarize, in this video, I showed you the concept of automatic user synchronization that allow us to extract users from Active Directory, synchronize it to the backend system, upload additional information that you find useful in your organization. Thank you and see you at next chapter.